people for the right positions. But 2015 was when I got hired by Sultan to become their sales trainer, because I met the owner broker, and he kind of asked me, hey, with your amazing psychology background, why don't you become, train my agents? We got about 65, 70 agents. Your kind of like personality assessments and all that would be fabulous for helping them train to become more efficient salespeople.
Right, which is very, very smart. So I'm sure you found that very useful in helping the company find good talent and screen candidates. It's probably really useful when you're meeting with buyers and sellers as well.
Definitely, like the training in psychology just helps me understand how the human brain works and how the human nature works, and people have different personality traits. It falls aligned with all the personality disc training that you guys teach us with. When I hear those sessions, I'm like, yep, that's exactly it. That's just how you got to do it. And it's been very productive, I would say, with understanding how the different clients come and with the different worries and anxieties. And we always laugh, when I'm in the listing presentations with them, it's kind of like a coaching counseling session when you're going through that kind of anxious period of whether you buy, sell first, what to do. The first time home sellers, what they're kind of like worried about. I become like their psychologist essentially.
Yeah, well, anybody that's studied disc personality profiling understands there's 4 major personality types, and most of us are, really strong in one of the areas. We have a dominant personality, and our tendency as salespeople is to sell to people the way we want to be sold to. But understanding this, you realize actually I'm making the wrong presentation 75% of the time. So it's not just what we say; it's how we present that information to different individuals. So that's really interesting. So you didn't actually get into real estate as a real estate salesperson. You were hired by a real estate company to because of your psychology background to help them use your knowledge to be able to recruit and screen and find the ideal candidates for their team. So how did you? Okay, so now you're working at this real estate company. You're helping them hire great, talented people. Like, did you realize that's me? Like, at some point, did you realize, oh my God, like I should be a real estate agent?
It was actually in my rookie year. I had no idea what real estate was. I had no experience with the field at all. So I had to get my real estate license. I understand.
So you had no desire actually to be a real estate agent. This kind of just happened.
Yeah. I'd never done a deal by myself. I'd never even purchased a house yet at that time. It was just, hey, I had to get my real estate license, understand what it was, do a few deals myself to try and understand, the complexities of making a deal, what kind of the pain points that the agents were struggling with. And naturally just sale after sale just kind of happened. And in my rookie year, they're already like, you're the second highest sales guy we got. Screw the psychology, just keep on.
I love it. So the actual, you were hired basically as a recruiter, and now you become the top salesperson for the company. And now, did you know you loved it right away? Did you have like a natural affinity to it?
It was always exciting. Like, I've always been a people person, even throughout my life. All the moving around that we've done, just meeting new people was just always an excitement for us. And I think real estate, meeting new people, meeting new clients, meeting new prospects was a pretty exciting part of the job for me. So just naturally built on that natural tendency of mine to keep on, convert those kind of exciting opportunities into sales. So yeah.
Now, how did you get your clients in the beginning? Like, you're really good with people, obviously reading people and dealing with different personality types. What about the finding of the clients? How did you do that originally?
Like all agents at the very beginning of the career, your first few sales are going to be kind of like through your own referral network, right? Luckily for me, you had a pretty robust network through our church groups, friendship groups, interest groups, hobby groups. I had a lot of friends that kind of like, oh, hey, you're doing real estate, and okay, yeah, can you help me with this? And just kind of snowballed that effect into building my own kind of a client list. So
you were fortunate that you had that strong network to get started. So how did you find me? How did you join the Craig Proctor system? And how many years in real estate were you into this before you found me?
Yep. So I started real estate in 2015, working as a solo agent, and got to a point where, I would say for most agents, it was being classified as, fairly successful, averaging $200,000-$300,000 a year in income.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. And to me, that was like an eye opener, right? Like, no one told me that real estate could be that lucrative. But it got to the point where I was doing like 12 deals a month just by myself, like from everything from the prospecting, meeting new people, the marketing, the sign installation, like everything that you kind of said, like I did as a real estate agent, because that's what everyone in the firm did. And that's what I thought was the model. But I got to the point where I was having my second child, I was getting burnt out. And then we saw some advertisements, I think, in the real estate magazine about one of your is what we're going to be working on over these 3 days together. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Sorry, we saw the real estate magazine, and then I went to one of your tester conferences, and then that kind of like intrigued me. It's like, hey, there's a better way to do it. It's a more
right. So that was the first time you'd actually met me, was at one of the conferences.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's right.
Okay, so what did you hear at that conference that was sort of new or revealing, that because we've been working now together for a number of years, but what impact, like you said, like every other agent, you kind of look around at what everyone else is doing. And now it wasn't that you weren't successful. It was, you were. I mean, the new problem for you was you were so successful, you were trading all your time and you're working 7 days a week, but you realized I'm doing everything, including, pounding the signs in the ground and paperwork and getting the keys cut. And so you come to one of my conferences, kind of looking for a better way to do this. What was the epiphany, so to speak, that you had?
When you brought the team format to my attention, I was like, that's it. That's exactly it. From my corporate background, like this is how large corporations worked, right? It wasn't the CEO frying the burgers and doing the fries and doing the cashiers. He was directing the vision of where the company wanted to go, and he hired a team around him to fit those particular job skill sets. And that was like, yes, this is what I need. Like I can't be doing all this myself. So
right. So that made perfect sense. Who did you hire first when you started to expand your team?
We had an administrative assistant. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. She was
now it's interesting because that's the first thing everyone should be hiring is the first hire should be an administrative assistant. Mm-hmm. Now that solves a problem in a way, but it also causes another problem because now it allowed you to even go spend more time selling real estate. So it allowed you to sell more, but at the end of the day, you still got the same problem, which is you're doing a higher sales volume, but you're still working all the time. So what was the next hire?
A second administrative assistant.
Okay. So you absolutely overwhelmed the first assistant. You're still working 7 days a week, but selling many more homes. Now you had to hire a second administrative person. Then what?
Then we started, for me, we kind of broke down, following the guidelines you kind of gave us, like what was the most time consuming parts of the business or the sales process that I was doing, which I could kind of cut out. And a lot of it was working with the buyers, doing showings, so I hired an OSA to help with that aspect, just dealing with all the different showings, because running around the city while trying to do the sales or trying to lead division wasn't being productive for myself when we were working down that, kind of broke down that task list. So hiring some OSAs to help with that now.
Okay, so did you hire one OSA or did you hire a couple right at the same time?
Initially at one, but then again they were overworked, so I had to hire a second one. And now we're on to about we just hired 2 more, so now we're at 5 OSAs, just predominantly just helping our buyers and sellers do showings.
That's awesome. So everybody watching this, this is a very interesting situation here where Tim has training in psychology, right? He gets hired by a real estate company to help them with recruiting and training and finding good talent, and realizes, actually, I might be pretty good at this. Looks around at what everyone else is doing, is successful, but that's the problem. How many watching this right now are living this success? I call it the success trap, Tim, because your problem wasn't lack of skill or ability. Your problem was you were so talented at this out of the gate that you realized as a psychologist, I guess you were able to analyze yourself and say, well, this is not like the kind of life I want. And you did something about it, which is you came to my training. You started to expand your team, leverage yourself through other people. What's this look like today? What do you spend most of your time as the rainmaker now? You've got this team. It's really a business now versus Tim, the solo agent. So what kind of things do you focus on a weekly basis?
Weekly basis, focusing on training the team, like having my agents up to the standard that we want to deliver, the professionalism, the excellence that we want to strive for. So that's a big part of my.
Is that like a weekly meeting?
We have weekly and also daily kind of like pep talks and
Oh, like a little powwow every day. Okay.
powwow. Yeah.
Yep. What kind of things are you training them on? Just give us a few examples of the types of training you do.
How to deal with the rejection, from the clients or from the sellers, what they're kind of like, why they're rejecting you, right? Like, what's it's, kind of basic, back to the principles that you said, like your proposition wasn't compelling enough, right? So how do we kind of overcome some of that? A lot of the training materials that you guide us through with you and Todd as well from the training university there, we pull a lot of those to go through and talk with that. Because as we're doing more deals, you're going to get a lot of rejection as well, and that's
right.
A downer for a lot of agents when they get the rejection and don't know how to overcome it or think they're a failure. So, kind of encouraging and motivating them has been a big part of my job.
Yeah, that's great. So outside of training the agents, I guess you're always recruiting and expanding because your team is growing in leaps and bounds. So how do you find good talent? You were hired by this company to do it. I know you're good at finding, the agents that are right fit. So what advice would you give to realtors watching this? How do I build my team and avoid kind of the common mistakes? How do I find the great person for this position I'm looking for?
The DISC test that you provide for us is a very great filtering tool. Obviously, with the success we've gotten, kind of like the progress we've made in the program has made us kind of put us on the map, and people are reaching out. Hey, I want to come and join your team. I want to kind of, model the success that you're having. But for my team, like I've initially kind of kept it small, just as I want to, the people that I'm bringing on board are going to be my future leaders in the organization. So I want to make sure they're groomed, they have the right principles, their heart and, integrities are in the right place before I kind of expand it. So right now I've been initially keeping it small, but that filtering tool that you provide for us, it's a beauty. It's so easy to use, so easy to find the right people with that tool.
So Tim, let us in on where do you see this, let's say a year from now? What's your vision for the growth of your business?
So we've signed on to become one of the Your Home Sold Guaranteed brokerages, as part of the system as we advance. So we're becoming a broker owner. In the next 12 months, I want to kind of double the amount of agents we have at the firm. In the next 3 to 5 years, I want to have maybe potentially 5 locations, try and open up one per year and get to that 5 locations in about 5 years' time.
I love it. And I know you're going to do it. And for those of you that aren't sure what Your Home Sold Guaranteed is, you may not be sure what it is today, but in the near future, you're going to see them everywhere. These are brokerages that I license. So Tim has bought a Your Home Sold Guaranteed brokerage, which licenses the Craig Proctor intellectual property. And by the way, if you're a realtor in the North Toronto area, you're watching this and you want to join a great team, or at least have a discussion with Tim, you should reach out to him to find out what he's got going on, because you would be definitely working with somebody that's proactive. They have a very exciting future. What's the best way for realtors to contact you to find more information about at least having a discussion about joining up with you and partnering with you?
Go to our website, timsold.com. It's very easy to find. You go there, all our contact details are there. You can send us an email, a text, or call us directly. We'll respond within 12 hours or at the very latest.
Okay. So yeah, if what we're talking about here today resonates with you, and maybe you're working for a traditional brokerage, or kind of feel it's stagnant and you'd like a fresh approach, and you would like a mentor that's leading edge, you should definitely reach out to Tim, have a conversation. You'll know right away when you talk to Tim that he's very different from most of the realtors and brokerages in the area, and you'll understand immediately why he's so successful. The guaranteed sale. Tell us about Your Home Sold Guaranteed. What is the premise? What is the idea, just with the name of the brokerage?
It's a great, every what do you call it? Search engine optimization right now. Most people's searches start on Google. They type in home sold, or what's my home worth? What can my home sold for? We're playing on that kind of Google algorithm. So when we plug in those words, the top 3 searches, you're going to find a Your Home Sold Guaranteed brokerage listing near you, brokerage nearby that you can contact and, get more details. So it's, playing Google at its own game and, feeding it essentially.
And I think everyone understands how important that is because everybody starts their search for whatever it is. If Tim, you and I are going out for dinner tonight, we're probably going to Google restaurants in the area and look at the reviews. So your name, your company name is so important today. Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Check it out. It's coming to an area near you. And as the name suggests, if we can't sell the house, we'll guarantee it. The iBuyer companies, especially in the US, now it's starting in Canada, are huge. We can't say this isn't a thing. Thousands and thousands of homes are being guaranteed by iBuyer companies. People like convenience. People like certainty. They don't like risk. And the traditional way of selling real estate is sometimes very, very challenging for buyers and sellers. So we're all about making it easier for people to buy and sell. When they see a home they like, they can move up, make a firm cash offer, never risk owning two houses. So if you're a buyer or seller, you happen to be watching this, if you're in York region, just north of Toronto, you've heard of Tim, you've seen his signs, you're going to see more of them. If you want to find out more about what Tim does, how he can help you get the best results when buying and selling, what's the best way buyers and sellers can reach you, Tim?
Again, go to our website, timsold.com. All our contact details are there. Again, we respond at the very latest within 12 hours.
Okay, great. timsold.com. Okay, so let's talk about listings because that's really our topic here today. You're a master at marketing listings, especially high-end listings. You've got some beautiful homes, by the way. For those of you that want to see some of the production work that Tim and his brother Alvin have done, in the comments below, we're going to have a link that you can click on and you can watch. Tim's been gracious enough to provide some of his work, some of the videos that he uses to promote his listings. I know your brother's been a big part of this. He's very creative. You really use the video promotion as a way to also get the listings as well. And I even there's one here that I was watching before we got started. I think you sent it to the seller. You did a preview of the seller's property, and then you sent it to the seller and said, "Hey, this is just encapsulizes our meeting today." Tell us about all the different ways you use video to get the listings, to market the listings, and to get clients.
Firstly, about Alvin, he's my brother, but he's actually got a Hollywood background. He's in the film industry for the past 10, 12 years. He worked on some of the major, like the Iron Man, Captain America. He was a visual effects artist for them. His names are actually in the credits. He's been to the red carpet event. So he's been a total blessing, to the team.
Wow, that's awesome. You are really so fortunate to have him because his work is beautiful. Again, everybody in the comments below, check out Alvin's work. You guys really work together to make masterpieces of the presentation of these homes. Now, are your homes typically higher end, or what kind of price range do you specialize in?
Yep, we're typically in the higher end between the $1.5 to $4 million range. For Toronto, when the average house is selling around $1 million, so we're typically in the upper level category. We've gotten some commercial buildings from that as well. We had a $10 million building sale. We're currently working with a few, in the Bridle Path area where, you'll be seeing those videos soon in the $20 to $30 million range as well. So definitely because of the higher level production that we're able to produce for our clients, it sets us apart. We've got, the Hollywood standard coming, as a production team coming. So that definitely helps us portray and display the homes at the level that they should be showcased.
That's just such an amazing thing to be able to say when you meet with a seller prospect is, hey, my brother produces, has worked on Hollywood films, and this is the kind of quality that you're going to get in the marketing of your home. We all agree that the whole world is going video. And then when you're able to show sellers and buyers the quality, the type of way you're going to be promoting their property, that must go a long way into getting the business.
Sellers are just, they like having their, they're proud of their property, right? So they really
Yeah.
want it showcased in that limelight that they deserve. They think that it should be deserved, and we're just fulfilling a need for them. So it's definitely a great tool to have at our disposal. But it all comes down to kind of the listing material that you've taught us, through the program about, what are the propositions that we can provide. This is just one of them. All the other ones that we can provide are, based on your system, the material that you've taught us. So
so let's share some advice for realtors that obviously we're all doing video today. Share with us. You're an expert at this. Share some of your secrets. So if I'm going to do a video this weekend on one of my listings, what are the things that are really important to make sure that I'm doing when I'm creating these videos?
For me, at the very beginning, before Elvin joined, he's only been with us for about 12 months. So prior to that, it was just me kind of figuring out how to do it myself. Obviously, I don't think using your iPhone going around to film it is the right way to take pictures or do videos, and you're not doing justice to your clients. Hire, even freelancers, or hire a team of professionals to help you. That's going to be number one step, because you can't, again, kind of going back to the, the analogy before where I couldn't do everything myself. I can't do video production myself. I don't even know which programs to use, but hire the right people around you to do it, and entrust them or give them some guidance, and they're going to help, raise your level up that much more, because there's only so much one person can do.
Now, I assume the more the more properties you listed and the more videos you did, you and your brother got better and better at the creative. You came up with some things, it's like anything else. Like some of the things you tried may have not worked that well, but then I'm sure you've stumbled onto, it's like every time we list a house, we're going to do these certain things to make it a big hit. So what are some of the big secrets, like things that you always do when you promote a listing to make this video really powerful?
The titles that you need to put into your YouTube videos, or any kind of social media format, that's going to be part of the algorithm that you need to kind of capture. So having the right hashtags, having the right labels, having the right titles, the eye-catching kind of
now, did you know
animation.
all this, or did Alvin, or you guys had to learn what words to use? And so that's a big Okay, so
it was actually, sorry to interrupt. It was part of the conferences that we've been to when Mark and Kristen Chastami, they kind of taught us how to do it, and we kind of learned from them, and we kind of trying to worked it out and tried it out ourselves as well. So it's, again, it all goes back to the kind of the system, the implementation that you guys are teaching us. We tweak it. There's nothing that we really discovered on ourselves. It's just taking what you guys doing or taught us and trying to maximize it the best that we can.
Okay, I love that you said that. Like, there is no need to have to reinvent the wheel. Part of the big benefit of being in the Craig Proctor system is networking with the other top realtors. And Tim, I know you've heard me say, everything that you want to do in real estate's already been done by thousands of other Craig Proctor members. Let's talk about the networking, the people that you meet inside the Craig Proctor system, coming to the conferences, all the group webinars we do, the people you've met, and being able to really strike up these lifelong friendships, and the type of sharing that goes on. How important is up into your business?
In any kind of business, or not just real estate, but any kind of career, you always want to look out for mentors that are going to help you and guide you through the process, because they've already kind of walked the walk, and can guide you through the pitfalls. And having this system, that's kind of what partly drawn me into that as well. Because when I was at my firm by myself, being one of the top agents, I was kind of like, well, what else can I do, right? So then you look outside, and then we found the system, and you got Sarah Reynolds that's doing $15 million a year, Rudy doing $10 million a year. These are all kind of goals that I want to achieve, and what better way to kind of network with them was join the system and network with them and learn from them too. So that's been a big blessing.
And a lot of members, when they first join up with me, they're not even aware that kind of production level exists, right? That you mentioned Sarah Reynolds, who's been one of my clients for 10 years. And when I met Sarah and her mother, I think they're doing about $300,000 in GCI, which is really good. But as you mentioned, she's doing over $1 million every month. I just talked to Sarah yesterday, and next year will be even bigger, because now she's expanding all over the country. She's creating expansion offices. So that's probably going to be the case for you. Right now you're in North Toronto. But there's no limit to where you can take this. You can expand this all over Canada, all over the United States, wherever you want to go. Have you thought about expanding outside of Toronto?
Yeah, as we were kind of we had a strategy meeting, as we're changing over the brokerage name and trying to think about how to best brand ourselves. One of our kind of marketing managers like, hey, why just limit us to Earth? We're going to space now. Why don't we have your home so guaranteed Mars, right?
Well, that's our goal. If there's if there's going to be a real estate brokerage on the moon, we want it to be a your home sold guaranteed brokerage.
We'll be the first ones.
Now, what do you do to stay in touch with clients? Like, you're a psychologist by training. That helps you with managing your whole team. It helps you with your relationships with clients. I imagine you've got a pretty strong referral network of past clients that are feeding you a lot of business, and so it's growing exponentially. You're really good at getting new clients, but you're really good at they never really become past clients for you. They're just clients who keep you keep this relationship going.
Yep.
So how do you do it?
One of the best learnings from the system was the Raving Fan program that I learned about a year and a half ago. These are kind of like rewarding our fans for referring us and just being top of mind. It's a monthly subscription surprise box for them. So for the past few months, we've given anywhere from like small little gift baskets. This month, actually, this weekend, we're doing a photo session for the family. So you come and it'll be a free family day photo shoot. Next month, we're giving out calbee.ca. It's a food delivery, a Korean barbecue service for our friends and family, referrals. So that's been a great engagement, a great conversation starter. From that, we created our own Tim's Old Raving Fan Facebook group.
That's cool.
There's a lot of engagements there. So yeah, like again, what we're doing is just a lot of the teachings that we learned from the chiropractic system.
Now, you're very active on social media. Now, are obviously you're not doing the postings. You have a team that does, but you're overseeing the social media strategy. Let's talk a little bit about your social media strategy and how you consistently make that happen.
Yeah, it got overwhelming for me. Like before the chiropractic system, I was never on Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, all those programs. I thought they were a big time waster, to be honest. But then I started doing it and trying to, when I first got trying to, build up my brand, build up my presence, those are the great platform to start kind of advertising, getting people out there. And then I started realizing like, people do pay attention, like not just our clients, but our friends. And, you'd see them every half year. They're like, oh, you've been doing this, you've been that, you're doing this. And like, that's when you notice that 24 hours online, it's there. Right. It's free advertising for everyone to see. So when we got a hold of that, then I kind of brought in my team. I mean, you go through our social profile, you'll kind of notice when I was doing it myself and then kind of converting it to when it was more professional production. We leave everything online. We don't take anything down. We just want to show, for agents that are watching, you'll see the progression of how we started as just me kind of doing it myself. And then, bringing more people, and you'll see the production quality change.
So if we look back on Instagram, we'll see here's Tim sporadically, and then all of a sudden the production level goes up, the consistency goes up. You've got huge, brand and name awareness in your marketplace, and a lot of agents they battle obscurity, right? Like people know who you are now, but you also do a very good job of communicating not only who you are, but what makes you different and say better than the average realtor. Your goal is to get people calling you. Never chasing prospects. So in your world, there's no cold calling, there's no door knocking. You're not subscribing to any of the traditional things. It's all about smart, effective marketing. So let's talk about you as the marketing director. That's not something that you abdicate, even though you've got people around you that post the social media, and you've got your brother who's very talented. You still maintain that role of marketing director, because that is the biggest rainmaker activity that you have.
Yep. Being the marketing director or marketing visionary, I would call them. It's just setting the direction of where we want to go. What do we want to try? Measuring the effectiveness. That was another big learning from the system, was when, Kristen Sampini was my coach, like measuring everything, measure.
Test,
measure. I'm not a very detailed person by personality, but because of some of the training and the forced kind of like, metrics that we're measured against, I have to become better at tracking, better at focusing on what we're doing, measuring the results, whether, because, our resources are limited. So like, what do I need to spend my money on? What do I spend my budget on? What's going to be most effective for us? That's been a very big help in building our business brand as well. Just being effective with our resources.
Yeah. As real estate agents, we slowly, as we become more successful, realize that this is a business, and there are certain rainmaker activities that I should be engaged in. Most of the things that we believe we need to do should be delegated. And at some point, if you do this properly and you're delegating and you have systems in your business, you're going to be able to start to expand your business without expanding the number of hours worked. And for me personally, Tim, that was a huge epiphany, because in the beginning, I knew how to sell more houses. It meant Craig working more, right? So I went from 5 days a week to 6 days a week to 7 days a week. And like you, something has got to give, right? Because I knew I was capable of selling more real estate, but I had no more time to live, to work. When I had that epiphany, that really what it came down was this: how many homes could Craig sell if it had nothing to do with Craig? Right? As soon as I realized, if I can get the right people and the right systems in place, how many buyers could I work with if it didn't depend on me? How many homes could I list and service if it didn't depend on me? So eventually, as entrepreneurs, we realize that there is no connection between the money we make and time. We all think in the beginning, well, that's how I make more money, is I spend more time. But you're on the other side of this now, right? Like, and once you get this, right? Like once you see this vision and you really get it, you really understand, oh my God, like if I just focus on these 3 or 4 things: recruiting, hiring, training, marketing, there's 3 or 4 things that if you focus on those, you can expand this beyond your own ability, beyond your hours, and even beyond your marketplace. Because I know that you are going to outgrow York Region. I know it. I know you're going to keep expanding this. And the entrepreneurial part of you will be thinking, okay, what's next? What's the next challenge? It's funny, Tim, when you and I meet with, let's say, new realtors, maybe they're not involved with the Craig Proctor system yet. You've been to our conferences. We've done some in Richmond Hill, and there'll be some people that have had no experience with us. And of course, I'll put you on stage, or I'll get you on our panels, because you've got such an incredible story. But there's a fair amount of skepticism. People are like, well, is this really possible? It's so powerful when people get to know you and get to know your story, and they understand that, if Tim can do it, and Kristen can do it, and Sarah can do it, I can do it. And that's why we always encourage people to come out to our events. Look up Tim, give him a call. He's a real guy. He's very down to earth. He's got a great story, but there's lots of great stories. You've met the people in our network. How important was that in the beginning to you, to hear all these success stories about people that had the same struggles, and they get involved with this system, and they start to have this success, and they start to be able to expand their business beyond themselves, and they realize, I can move from job to business, right? When did you have that epiphany that, okay, I don't have a job anymore. This is a business. And now that's a business, I can leverage this thing out big time?
Firstly, I'll be honest. I think I was one of your skeptics at the beginning when I went to one of those free conferences, sitting there in the back thinking, yeah, okay, Craig, he sells a good game. All these.
Well, you were a psychologist. You're like, I'm not going to fall for this, right?
Yeah, it's like, what is this kind of like? Is this a marketing? Is it a scam or whatever? It wasn't a scam. But that was my mindset when I first went in there. So actually, when I first
you were a reluctant attendee in the beginning. You were sitting in the back, watching this out, and so what kind of thoughts were going through your head? Like, it can't be that easy, or this is not what I've been told about real estate.
I think more of it is my personal ego a little bit too. It's like, I was like, oh, I'm already doing like all right. Like, why do I need to do better,
Right.
right? Like, or what's better than this, right? Because for me, I was kind of like limited in my box. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm already one of the top agents in my firm in my rookie year or something like that, right? So I
Right.
was like,
Right.
what else can this guy teach me?
Well, yeah, I know it
But
all already. I'm already doing
yeah,
well.
yeah.
Exactly.
But what really caught me was the "Your Home So Guaranteed" slogan. That kind of clicked. I was like, oh yeah, that's actually a very interesting thing I hadn't really thought about before, right? So during my first year, I actually didn't implement anything else, but I just changed my slogan, like all my business cards, everything, my email address,
So you
just
put on,
"Your Home
you
So
had a,
Guaranteed."
you replaced whatever your company logo with
Yeah.
the offer, your home
Mhm.
sold guaranteed. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, the offer is so important today.
Mhm.
People will say to me, I tried Facebook and that didn't work. And I tried Instagram and that didn't work. And I tried direct mail and that didn't work.
Mhm.
Look, um, the offer is the key. Like if you take direct mail, the job of the postcard is to get delivered. That's it. That's the job of the postcard. If your
Mhm.
message is I'm experienced, or I'm hardworking, or I'm a nice
Mhm.
person, those offers are going to fall on deaf ears. You started
Mhm.
to take the Craig Proctor intellectual property. You took these offers, you replaced all your marketing with very
Mhm.
compelling offers,
Yeah.
and quickly came to the realization, wow, this really
Mhm.
works.
I mean, that was the only thing I did for the first year. Like, I'm ashamed to admit it now, but we just moved houses recently, and I was going through some of my old packages. I still have those conference packages that you gave me, or the
Right.
monthly email packages that you sent me, and I have one from 2017 that I haven't even opened. Like, that was my first year. I was like, I don't need this stuff. I just need the slogan. That's it. But I soon came to the realization, like, that did help me, next 12 months, business improved by about 20-30%. I was like, just from using this program, or the slogan has helped me do this. By chance, I opened up another email, a package, and then I kind of went through the materials, like, all right, let's try this one. Right. Tried that, saw a little bit of result. And then, then it's like, okay, I'm seeing progress here. Right. And then 2 years ago, when I was like, okay, I'm committed. Like, I've seen enough result. I know this kind of works. I've had enough demonstrations. Let's go full in. And that's when I started building the Tim Sold brand now
Right.
under the
Okay. You
guidelines.
mentioned you mentioned going full in. Okay. So you'd kind of nibbled around the edges with this, and
Yeah.
you were implementing a thing here and there.
Mhm.
But 2 years ago, you decided, I'm really going to dedicate my business philosophy. I'm going to
Mhm.
go all in on the Craig Proctor system. So what has happened in the last two years since you've decided to, quote, go all in?
So, averaging $300,000 wasn't a problem for me by myself. I implemented a little bit, saw like, 350 that year, implemented a little bit more, close to 400, but I went full in that first year. I went $500,000. Second year,
Nice.
like last year, $1.6 million. This year, we're on track to hit $3.2 million. Like, um, the more we implement, the more results we get. And it's very addictive. It's like, you see the results and you're like, okay, this is it. What else is new? What else can we do? And we're constantly learning. Like you said, there was a titanium conference this weekend. Unfortunately, I couldn't go, but we have the slides, we have some of the shows, and I'm going to watch those and implement some of those learnings. And hopefully we're going to see the results grow again.
Well, look, you've done a great job here, Tim. I'm so proud. I live here locally in the North Toronto market, so I see Tim signs all over the place. But that's what happens, folks, when you go all in with the Craig Proctor system. So if this resonates with you, reach out to me, reach out to Tim. We'd be happy to talk to you. In fact, if this makes sense to you and you'd like more information on how I could potentially help you as a real estate agent, I'm offering all real estate agents that are watching this the ability to book a free breakthrough call with me and my team. We call it a breakthrough call because that's what we want to help you do is to get to the next level. Like Tim here today had a breakthrough. I mean, he was a successful agent by all measurements. He didn't need to join the Craig Proctor system. He was doing $300,000 a year. He's on pace this year to do $3 million. That's 10 times more results. And Tim probably with less effort than making the 300,000. So we offer a breakthrough call, and I'm going to type into the comments the domain, which is easy to remember. It's just my name, proctorcall.com. So if you click on proctorcall.com, the link in the comments, you'll go to my acuity date time. You can pick a day and a time. How does this breakthrough call work with my team and I? We ask you a series of questions about where you are right now and in your business, where you are right now, the struggles, the challenges, what's working. Then we ask you, where is it that you'd like to go? Like, what's your vision for, a year down the road, 5 years down the road? Here's the crazy thing, Tim, and you'll be able to relate to this as a psychologist. Everybody knows where they are right now. It does help to talk about it, though. Like, where am I right now? We find when we ask realtors a lot of questions, just the questions we ask in the beginning, really, it helps people, because people say, those are good questions. These are answers. I should know the answers to these questions, but we ask realtors really good questions about what they're doing, why they're doing it that way, the results they're getting. And then when we ask them, where would you like your business to go? Some realtors have a challenge with really, being able to articulate where they want to take it. But most agents do know where they want to go. So the obvious question is, well, what holds you back? If you know where you are right now and you know where you want to take this thing, why aren't you doing it? And so we help real estate agents identify the obstacle or obstacles, the things that are holding them back. Now, at the end of this hour call, there's no obligation to work with Craig Proctor or work with his team, although we'd love everyone to do that. At a minimum, you're going to walk away with some clarity on how you can take your business to the next level, help you solve some of your current business problems, or at least identify what those problems are. So if you've enjoyed this interview with Tim and myself, you're a realtor in Toronto, you should reach out to Tim. Reach out to Tim. Costs nothing to have a conversation. There's only upside to talking to Tim. If you're a realtor who would like training and coaching, or at least some free advice from Craig Proctor, from myself and my team, go to proctorcall.com, book your breakthrough call. Let's at least have a conversation, right? Cost nothing, no cost, no obligation. That's where it all began for Tim, is being open-minded. Even though he sat in the back of the conference room, even though he might have been thinking, you know what, I'm pretty successful, I think I know it all, I don't think I need any help. He pushed ego or whatever aside and said, maybe. Okay, he came to a free conference. We're inviting you to a free call. That's where it all started with Tim. This is where it can all start for all of you. Tim, I want to thank you so much for doing the interview with us. I know you're going to have continued success. You're a great guy. Everyone here in the Toronto area, if they don't know who you are, they're going to know who you are real soon. So all the best for the rest of this year. And we'll talk to you very soon, Tim. Thank you for doing this.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for having me on, Craig.
Thank you. This is the Craig Proctor Show, and I want to thank everybody for